with Philip Young with Borneo Adventures. Philip is going to tell us a little bit about their company and what they do.
We started out 20 years ago, and essentially, I myself am based in Kuching, which is the capital in Sarawak, and we have 3 offices on the island of Borneo: Kuching, Miri, and Kota Kinabalu. And our main claim to fame is that we do very much community service. We work with communities especially in Sarawak, and we have developed many programs that's really community based.
Geography lesson first. You just mentioned the place I'm not familiar with.
Oh, sorry. um, Island of Borneo is the 3rd largest in the world, and Kuching, where I come from, to put into perspective, is an hour's flight time from Singapore and 1.5 hours from Kuala Lumpur. And Kota Kinabalu, northern tip of Borneo, is about a 2-hour flight time from Hong Kong. And in between Sarawak and Sabah, it lies Brunei. I think you might have heard Brunei. And so Sarawak and Sabah are the Malaysian states of the Borneo, the Borneo part of Malaysia, because Malaysia is made up of federation of Peninsular Malaysia as well as the Bornean states of Sarawak and Sabah. So always we would collectively call it East Malaysia.
Thank you for that, Philip. And back to community base. Now, how does this tie in with adventure, with travel, tourism?
Well, when we first started, we looked around to see, what we, had to offer the world. And where I come from in Sarawak, because I was born in Kuching, I looked around. Essentially what we had, which was very unique and special to our destinations, really our culture and our nature. In terms of culture, we have distinctly at least 5 to 6 very distinct groups of people, tribal groups of people. And one interesting aspect of Sarawak, where I come from, is it not only culturally is interesting, but historically you need to look at you need to understand a bit of history. We had the White Rajas, which is an English family that was ruled over us for well over 100 years, from about 1841, if my history serves me right, to about 1946. And then briefly we were occupied by the Japanese I forgot about the Japanese. We were there for about a few years, and after that we became a British colony essentially, from 46 to 63. And in 1963 we teamed up, with Singapore at the time, to be part of Malaysia. And that is, we're now part of, politically we're part of Malaysia, but geographically we're on the island of Borneo.
So that's a lot of history. I'm visiting, so I'm a travel agent or tour operator, and I have some people who want to visit Borneo, your part. I'm still not catching. What can you do to help me, and what would I tell my guests they'll be doing or seeing?
I digress like a good Chinese novel, as I always say. Essentially, what is interesting is obviously the historical part, because basically Kuching, where I come from, you could see incredible traces from the Brooke era, which is the Victorian, a bit of those little translated castles and interesting buildings from the Brooke era. But what is interesting, because of the Brookes, our tribal people have, most of us, I would say, have very much retained our culture. I would not say I would never say that we're primitive, but we have a very strong tradition. And because of that, scratch the surface, scratch the veneer, you will find this incredible, rich, traditional ways.
How does that tie in to the sightseeing experience? Am I going to be seeing British, Japanese, or that family that controlled the area for 100 years type of things? Where do I see the headhunters? What happens here?
Oh, well, of course, I mean, when you hear of Sarawak, you think immediately of the headhunters. And yes, indeed, most of our tribal people were formerly headhunters. But that's in the past, in the historical context. That's why it's very interesting now to come. We bring people out, visitors to our country to be with these, the modern day descendants of the headhunters. Headhunter is no longer in vogue. It's no longer done. But the traditional ways are still very strong. I mean, apart from the headhunting, in the sense that many traditional forms, as you will in any country, you will have your traditional ways are still very strong, and it comes through in the especially in the rural areas of where I come from. And this is where we bring people to, where the traditional way of life is still very much intact. And this is where we bring people, when we bring people there, not only to sightsee, but to be also to interact with the local people. So actually it's not only to be a spectator, but to be involved.
Philip, thank you very much.